Hi everyone, welcome to today's webcast on consumer survey analytics. My name is Jay Pradhan and I'm a BI and analytics consultant at Thorogood and have drawn on our experience and expertise to bring you today's presentation. Our agenda for today will start with a brief introduction to Thorogood. We will then start by setting context and look at the importance of consumer survey data. We then look at how you can leverage the power of the cloud to get maximum value out of your survey data set. We will then look at opportunities to apply statistical techniques to derive consumer insight. And finally, we'll also look at examples of specific analytical use cases that have proven to be effective in helping organizations improve their understanding of consumer behavior. For those of you who don't know Thorogood, we are an independent niche BI and analytics services firm with focus in strategy and roadmap, requirements, design, implementation, and training and support. We are headquartered out of London with offices all over the world. Our clients typically span 4 data-rich verticals: consumer goods, pharmaceutical and health services, banking, and insurance. With experience across the board in various functions of these verticals. As I've mentioned, we are independent in that we don't work with one specific technology. Instead, we partner with a wide array of technology firms in business intelligence and analytics market, including back-end, front-end, and analytics-driven technologies. We find this independence is helpful to have a holistic view of the space, understanding our customers regardless of their current data landscape, and identify the best possible solution for our customers based upon their needs. We've been a gold partner in relevant specialties with Microsoft for over 15 years, and we have a seat on Microsoft's Partner Advisory Council, which provides us with insight into Microsoft's product and services roadmap in the space, but also provides us with a platform for feedback in terms of what we are experiencing in the market. Globally, we host a range of marketing, often educational marketing events on Microsoft's BI and analytics platform. So you can also navigate to our website or our YouTube page for videos on broader BI topics like topics using Databricks, advanced analytics. You can stay abreast of upcoming events in London or online via the events page on our website. We've also been featured on Microsoft's Power BI Partner Showcase, which is a resource Microsoft have made available online to highlight the art of the possible in Power BI by having partners create dashboards that are available to view. We are a Microsoft Cloud Solutions provider, meaning that we can host clients' cloud infrastructure within the Thorogood environment. Now let's move on to today's topic with first understanding the importance of consumer survey data. As some of you will know, consumer research is the practice of identifying preferences, attitudes, motivations, and buying behavior of the targeted consumer. Using a variety of consumer research methods to gather this information, shared traits among different consumer groups are identified and categorized into consumer segments, buyer personas, which are then used to create marketing campaigns targeting a specific segment or a persona. Consumer research is key to improving your product and successfully marketing to consumers who want to do business with you. Interviews, surveys, and other consumer research methods are some of your best friends when it comes to helping your company consistently increase revenue year on year. Consumer segment is a group of individuals who share specific traits relevant to marketing, such as age, location, gender, spending habits, and interests. Building consumer segments and buyer personas help build a better understanding of how different groups of consumers make purchasing decisions and allow marketing efforts to be more targeted and better tailored to those distinct groups. Different consumer segments may require different messaging, different communication channels, or even different pricing options. Additionally, consumer segments can help establish better consumer relationships and improve service. Without identifying such segments, organizations may not fully recognize the specific demands of your consumers and this might result in missed opportunities. The pace of change is speeding up, as all of us would have experienced. Platforms and products that are popular 1 month may be on the way in the next. To keep up and be consumer centric, organizations need to understand what different groups want, and beyond this, understand what needs to be given and what's going to excite people. Once you understand what really excites people, you need to understand how you're going to deliver against expectations and then change whatever is underwhelming. Efficiently managing your surveying process end to end enables organizations to keep a finger on the pulse of the market. The general standard of experience delivered by organizations is higher today than ever. Today's businesses need to be more closely monitoring how satisfied their consumers are and establish how or where improvements can be made. Or the danger is they will stagnate and ultimately fall behind improving competition. Today, companies offering a service or product used by many still tend to use mass marketing. In a world where competition is tough, personalization has become a necessity and for many retail brands out there. Targeted and personalized messaging helps communicate a better, clearer message and therefore attracts and helps retain customers. That's why consumer insight can help businesses understand why people buy certain products over other ones and what's driving those preferences. This can help you refine your personas, determine the best way to speak to your different audience segments as well. Some of the key milestones in executing a successful consumer insights campaign can start with establishing what you want to learn before conducting market research. Make sure you know what you will get from your data and how you will get it. Identify your sources. How will you obtain the data? Who's going to collect it? Who's going to analyze it? And make sure you have enough time and resources dedicated to getting and using the consumer insights that you have created. How you will collect data is extremely important. Are you targeting a specific audience, existing customers? Will you use a survey, a focus group? These are some of the important questions in order to get started. Make sure your efforts are not going to waste. It's important to plan and think ahead. Once you have the data, start thinking about what departments, processes, strategies, and initiatives might be affected and what's the plan for that. Hopefully you now have a sense of the importance of consumer survey information and how you could go about setting up for managing this data effectively. We'll now see how cloud technologies can be used to provide a platform for servicing this concept. We've created an example architecture using Microsoft to help you get a sense of how one can build applications for getting value from your consumer data, leveraging the cloud. There can be multiple versions of this architecture depending on your requirements. These can be technology agnostic as well, so you can build similar architectures with AWS or other cloud platforms. So over here on the left-hand side of the screen, we can see our data sources, which will be ingested into the Azure cloud using Azure Data Factory. This ingested data is then hosted within Azure Data Lake storage and then utilized for further processing. Cleansing and transformation is carried out by Databricks, and orchestration is handled by Azure Data Factory. The model data is hosted in Azure SQL DB and then can be consumed by you using different visualization tools such as Power BI, Tableau, or even Excel. We've included R over here for further analytical modeling that you might want to carry out on top of this data set. Now, let us look at some of the statistical techniques that we can apply on top of our structured consumer survey data set. Once we get our data processed and validated, we can then start to ask questions of the data and gain insights. We can then perform descriptive or more advanced analytics operations to answer some of the questions, such as who are the consumers that are switching from our products? Who are the consumers that are switching to our products? Which consumers are moving between different product types? It's worth pointing out that the survey will contain a mix of quantitative and qualitative data. Qualitative data is information that can be expressed as a number and can't be measured. So qualitative data consists of words, pictures, observations, symbols, basically not numbers. It's about qualities. So qualitative data is also called categorical data. Examples of qualitative data can be gender, education, nationality. Quantitative data ends with easy understanding of quantifiable results. You can analyze it in many different ways. So where you have quantitative data, it can be discrete. For example, number of respondents will always be a whole number, or continuous, such as age in years, weeks, months, days. So for analysis, we may find it useful to group these into age bands. As showcased in the example here, it allows us to look at the distribution of our respondents to see if there are any skews in the profiles. When analyzing switching between companies or brands or even price segments, we will want to analyze the overall net switching to see overall status as well as where people are switching to and from. Quantitative data is suitable for statistical analysis and mathematical calculations, while qualitative data is usually analyzed using grouping into meaningful categories or themes. We can use cross-tabulation to look at percentage splits within our data, as seen in the example on your screen. So while we have a total row level, we can also categorize it by gender, age, demographics, social status, and other such qualitative attributes. So now let us explore some analytical opportunities that will enrich your understanding of consumer survey data. Using advanced analytics techniques, you can answer questions such as, what are the drivers for consumers buying a specific brand? What are changes in profiles over time and are they significant? How do consumers perceive our products? And many such questions that might help enhance your understanding of consumer behavior. There are multiple analyses that you can run that can help you answer these questions. Let's start with correlation. Correlation measures the reliability of the relationship between two attributes under investigation. A positive correlation means that as the level of influence of one of the attributes becomes more prominent, the correlation attribute follows. You can observe this behavior in the graph A seen on your screen. A negative correlation indicates the opposite, that if the level of influence of one of the attributes reduces, the other attribute being investigated grows in influence. Both these types of behaviors are captured using correlation coefficients. So a positive correlation will indicate that both attributes behave and react in a similar manner, while negative correlation coefficients will reflect the opposite behavior. And this can be observed in your graph C. The graph B represents non-correlated variables where the influence of one doesn't correlate to a similar impact on the other variable. So while using this type of analysis, it is important to note correlation does not mean causation. And with that in mind, let's look at a quick demo of how we can build correlations between statements and brands from survey responses. So on your screen here, we've got a correlation plot. So we've selected from our dataset, we've selected a list of attributes such as age buckets, brand, which is a selection of brands, and a list of attributes, and then a time selection across years, and you can then filter down to months and quarters as well. And what we've done is we've selected a list of attributes and brands and use that to plot a correlation plot using a heat map. So on this heat map, you can see it's got a range over here. So your positive correlation values are darker plots, your negative correlation plots are lighter plots. And as you can see over here, so your negative plots are more number, which effectively signify an opposite relation with the other attribute when plotted together. So if you want an example of two statements that are not closely related, you can look at easy to share brand with modern design. So these two statements you can classify as not being completely correlated to one another, whereas something with a more positive correlation or a closer correlation, you might want to look at confident to recommend and inspirational, which shows you a slightly higher correlation number, or even a confident and a higher quality. So these two attributes effectively signify that when selecting a particular brand, these two attributes are often selected together for those selected brands. So they might give you an insight into how, if you want to build brands within similar segments, what are the attributes that you should focus on projecting through your marketing messaging. With that, let's look at how we've implemented this behind the scenes. So we've got a Python script editor. So we've implemented this through a Python script editor. Basically, we've got a correlation matrix over here. We've pivoted our data set to ensure that it fits into the model that we are looking to implement. And then we've basically used a heat map over here to plot our correlation coefficients. And then that plot has been, just this effective model gets run every time we make selections in our attributes, and it reconfigures itself. So with that, let me switch back to my presentation and move on to my next use case that I want to discuss. So our next use case is driver analysis. So driver analysis is key to understanding what are the drivers behind consumer preferences and the intensity of their impact on those behaviors. So different types of regression models are used to build out this analysis. So the difference between driver analysis and correlation maps is that correlation identifies the direction of relationship, positive or negative, between variables or attributes. While regression, on the other hand, maps the strengths or the impact of the relationship between the variables. So therefore, regression is often used as a predictive tool. So a lot of forecasting could also possibly be done using regression techniques. So let's look at a quick demonstration of how we can use this to perform driver analysis to understand drivers behind performance of specific attributes or brands. So I've got a button over here which I can navigate to driver analysis. I'll need to enable my Python visual for this to run. So on your screen here, you can see we've plotted the percentage of influence that specific statements have on the brands that we've selected. So as you can see, we filtered our dataset down to most often used. So effectively, it is a representation of what statements survey respondents have selected as to categorize a brand as a most often used brand. So you can see that for our specific brand selection and across the age buckets that we've selected, inspirational is a brand attribute that is most influential in respondents selecting a brand as a most often used brand. And then you have the degree to which it is a contributor to them selecting that as well. And then you can see that you can see the impact of each attribute or each statement for the list of selected brands. So this effectively helps you build a brand image and also helps you understand how customers are perceiving the messages that you're sending out relating to specific brands. Just to give you a sense of how we've built this out as well. So we've downloaded, again, used Python script editor, downloaded a bunch of libraries. such as NumPy, Pandas, Matplot, sklearn. We've got our try block here, which is effectively if the selections don't provide enough of a data set, then instead of the visualization failing, you'll see a message that is much more controlled. So therefore, we have a try block over here. We then pivot our data in order to get it in a format that can be consumed by the model. On top of that, we then run a coefficient analysis, basically to develop coefficients that you can plot from your regression model. And then we convert those coefficients which have been created using weights. We convert them into a percentage value, and then we plot that using our line plot function over here. So along with statements. So that's how we build our driver analysis map. You can build this analysis using different visualizations as well, and based on sort of what is available within Python or any other language that you want to use. So that's how we've built driver analysis and visualized that using the power of Power BI. So let's switch on to our next use case. So our next use case is correspondence analysis. So correspondence analysis is a interdependence technique that has become increasingly popular for dimensional reduction and perceptual mapping. So the benefits of correspondence analysis lie in its unique ability to represent rows and columns. So for example, brands and attributes in joint space. The advantages of correspondence analysis are that it portrays relationships between brands and attributes, but also brands and brands and attributes and attributes. So you can observe in your example here, we can see a perception plot which represents animals and their related attributes. Now this way you can identify which animals shares attributes. So for example, if you look at snakes and tigers, effectively they share certain attributes. So you can categorize them as having a similar perception to your survey respondents. And we could easily imagine how this might work for your business use case. So to give you an example of this and how we've implemented this in Power BI, let's do a quick demo. So again, as you can see, we've got a similar selection of attributes over here. So age, brand selections, and a list of other attributes that we've selected which are relevant to this plot. We can switch them up as well, but right now we've selected sort of 3 brands. You can also switch the analysis and do them for specific age buckets, which might be relevant to how you analyze your data within your business. So within this perception map that we've created, you can see that we've effectively plotted attributes along with and their relationship alongside brands. And that is signified by the closeness of a relationship is signified by the distance on the map, on the plot. So effectively, you can see for brand 4, easy to share brand, heritage, and purchasing choice are pretty key attributes that are that correspond very closely to brand 4. But you can also see that brand 3 and 4 share quite a few attributes among themselves. So you could categorize brand 3 and 4 to be closely correlated to one another. And as you can imagine, the benefits of this when you're trying to compare brands as well, but also when you're trying to capitalize on changing the perception of one brand towards what is a more successful brand that is doing well in the market. So to give you a insight into how we've built this, so for this one we have used a R plot. So over there, so we've got R script editor here. Again, we've got all of the relevant libraries for this. A fairly simple implementation. So we've got our data set. So we've done all of our data manipulations and transformations using the architecture that we showed you before. Then we've got this data into our data set and then run a CA function on our data and then used a CA plot to CA biplot function to represent this as a inner perception map. So effectively, yeah, this gives you a pretty interesting view of how you can not only find how brands correspond to one another, but also how attributes can closely correspond to one another within selected brands. So thank you again for joining us. I have left my information up on the screen for you guys to note down if you have any questions. So thank you and have a great day.